Hey, welcome back to Everyday Economics, a podcast that helps you learn about the economic world happening around you every day. I'm your host, Chris Krug, president of the 501c3 nonprofit Franklin News Foundation. Everyday Economics, a production of America's Talking Network. You can check out all of our great podcasts at americastalking.com. To support Everyday Economics and podcasts such as this one, please make your tax-deductible charitable contribution by clicking the link in the show description. We're recording this episode on Tuesday, March 14th. And joining me as always, my friend, my colleague, the esteemed Dr. Orphe Divounguy, PhD economist. Dr. O, let's get right into it. The day's news is Consumer Price Index. The story is it is down.
That's right. This inflation is still underway. And that was our thesis on the show, right? So once again, we made the right call. Everybody told me I was crazy when I said, look, don't worry about those January numbers. Stronger than expected jobs report in January, hotter than expected CPI report, hotter than expected PC price index. The bottom line is we said, January numbers are influenced by a whole bunch of factors, including the seasonal adjustments. But basically, you look at the February report and what you see is inflation year over year has gone down from 6.4% to 6%. So prices are cooling. They're not cooling as fast as everybody wished they were, but the pace of price increases is slowing still. In fact, what we saw in this report is that shelter costs continue to hold back ongoing disinflation, accounting for 70% of the February price gains. And in this case, it's not your rent in the consumer price index, which is slowing very slowly, not coming down fast enough, but still slowing. It's this leisure and hospitality sector, right? Because lodging away from home is part of the shelter component in CPI, and that's gone up 2.3% last month. It seems like people are still traveling. Air travel is also up 6.4% in February. So those are the sticky points. Right. You have consumers who are still going out there and traveling, which is really interesting given how much consumer finances are deteriorating.
Well, just taking a look at some of the other numbers, that have come out recently, and, with regard to like grocery, something that affects everybody, 10.2% up over last year. That is looking like a number that I think is even maybe shy, depending on the category of food you're talking about in the grocery store. But overall, up 10.2%. That's up 0.3% from January. As you had just said, prices keep going up. But that's to be expected, right? I mean, prices, I don't say always go up, but prices tend to go up. And we would rather see what you said in the past. We'd rather see disinflation, and let's define that, versus stagflation. Or
we don't want a deflationary episode. We want price growth to come to a standstill. We want it to slow down. And the goal here is to allow incomes to catch up. Usually when prices are declining, deflation, it's usually a period of time where basically people are firing, letting go of employees, and we're going into a contractionary environment. I think people here just want to keep their jobs and want to see prices increase at a slower pace. And we want this economy, this expansion to continue. We just want the economy to cool slightly because it was overheated.
What could we expect in terms of prices, returning to normal? And I'm putting air quotes around that, because I think the way that people talk about, the cost of goods, and whether it's, staples like, milk and eggs or regular, proteins that you would take out of a grocery store, or, everyday, use commodities, gasoline, things like that. I mean, will prices return to normal, or will there be a new normal?
I think prices are going to return to, and by the way, this normal is what? The normal is the Fed inflation target, which is an average price growth for 2%, annual price growth for 2%, right? So, the Fed is working towards that. The Fed is on its way there, and we are going there. The problem is it's taking a long time. It's going to be sluggish. You have a leisure and hospitality sector that's still a few 100,000 jobs below where it was before the pandemic. And so, and and people are still going out, as evidenced by the CPI report. People are still traveling, going on vacations, doing the Airbnb thing. And so, as long as that's there and that spending is there, leisure and hospitality, demand for leisure and hospitality, those services are continuing to increase, will continue to put upward pressure on prices. Wage growth in that sector will also be, relatively high. And so all of those factors are going to kind of hinder faster disinflation. And I think that's why the Fed is so focused on the labor market. If it can kind of bring down the activity in that sector, services in particular, right? Because we know goods disinflation is very much on the way already. If it can help to kind of to squeeze down activity in that sector, it probably will feel more confident about getting back to the 2% target sooner.
To wrap it up, Consumer Price Index came out today. Consumer prices rose 6% over last year, but that is the slowest since September 2021 in terms of year-over-year growth in a given month. And for Orphe Divounguy, this has been Chris Krug. You've been listening to Everyday Economics. Subscribe to Everyday Economics and dozens of other high-quality podcasts at americastalking.com.